Welcome to Getcha Popcorn Ready podcast. Hey, we have a fellow. That's wrong.
Wait.
I have a fellow Hall of Famer.
Whoa. It is we. I'm a Hall of Famer.
I was wrong.
I am a Hall of Famer.
Welcome to Getcha Popcorn Ready podcast. This week, we have a very special guest. They're all very special, but this one's very special for myself.
Yep.
Fellow Hall of Famer, Eric Dickerson is coming to the crib today.
ED is in the building. Long-legged, gate-striding, what do you call the neck roll wearing, goggle wearing, Jerry curl sprinkling. Eric Dickerson is in the building, ladies and gentlemen.
All of that except for the neck roll and the Jerry curl, that ain't coming in here today. All the other stuff is coming.
Can't wait to have you. Eric Dickerson, ladies and gentlemen, one of the best to ever do it. NFL Hall of Famer, Los Angeles Rams, Indianapolis Colts. Were they the Baltimore Colts back in the day? Or were they Indianapolis already?
I think they may have been Baltimore.
I think so, might have been, right? Eric Dickerson, ED, one of the best to ever do it.
Yeah.
Coming on, get your popcorn ready. Welcome to Get Your Popcorn Ready podcast. It's your host, Hatch, with my boy.
Yes, sir. Get your popcorn ready. Hey.
What we got today, buddy? What we got? We talking football today.
You said
we talking football today. We got high knees and neck rolls up in here. Eric Dickerson is in the building, ladies and
curls,
gentlemen.
goggles. Boy, he don't look like that
I should have
now.
brought the goggles over here for
You
you.
should have brought the goggles. Hey, what about the Jerry curls? Was that a wig? Was that real?
Hey, come on, dog. It wasn't a wig. That's been 30 years ago. Things changed.
How you doing, though, man?
I'm good.
Good. We appreciate you coming on,
No
brother.
problem.
Thanks for coming to the show, man.
No problem,
Yeah.
T.O.
This feels good, man, because I feel like, me, watching highlights of you, like you said, high knees, you know what I mean? Not too many running backs really has that running style, but, obviously now I'm a fellow Hall of Famer.
You're right.
So I feel good. I feel good in this room, man, you know what I mean? Because we did that thing, you know what I mean?
I can't get no love. I can't get no love.
We did that thing.
Hey, that's all right. That's all right.
Man.
Shout out to Jefferson High School, where I'm a Hall of Famer, and Langston University, where I'm a Hall of Famer, but
Man, but thanks for coming to the show.
No problem.
I've known you, personally known you for about 3 or 4 years now.
Yep.
And man, we had a great conversation. We had a mutual friend, Gustavo Miguel, call him Goose. Set up a little meeting with me and him. We went to one of my favorite restaurants, Cheesecake Factory.
Yeah.
And dude, we end up, I thought it was just gonna be like a 15, 20-minute conversation. Edie, how long we sat in there and talked, man?
Man, we were there at least an hour and a half.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, I think we found out that we had so many things, similarities. And I think, most black athletes, we have things in common anyway, but ours was really close. I mean, and see, because, your career kind of reminded me of mine, in some ways, because they tried to give you this black eye. You're a bad guy, and I was the bad guy. I was the bad guy because, I wanted to get paid. I mean,
but people don't really know that about you.
Yeah.
I mean, especially the era, that we played in.
Yeah.
Nobody really, because like I said, obviously the difference in media coverage, and things of that nature.
Yeah.
I think it would have been crazy for you to play in the era.
Oh, man!
You couldn't.
What?
How would it been? How would it be?
Well, first of all, I mean, I'm glad I played when I played because, I mean, these things here have caused more problems.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But yeah, I think the only good thing would have been is like for my situation when I was at the Rams, I said I was a villain because I wanted to get paid, and it wasn't about. I just wanted to be paid right. That's what it was.
Right. And you said it.
And I said I want to be paid right. And that was a problem, being a black athlete back in the 80s. You play and shut up. That's what pretty much they wanted you to do. And it wasn't like I was asking for nothing astronomical. I mean, think about it. I was the second pick. John Elway was the first. I was the second. He's making $1 million. I'm making 150,000.
Ooh.
It makes no sense.
It makes no
He
sense.
just wanted his market value.
I just wanted my market value because I was performing. I mean, I was producing, but you know, it wasn't like that in the NFL back then. So you know, and when I say they made me a bad guy, I was money hungry. I was words I never heard of. I was an ingrate. I'm like, what's an ingrate?
Right.
I didn't know what an ingrate was. I mean,
I gotta Google that.
Ingrate toenail? What is that?
So, you know, it was, and when I talked to T.O., when we met, it was almost the same thing, you know, with him, you know, and our families kind of were the same, you know, same things happened in his family and my family. So that's what I'm like, man, that happened with you too?
Right.
And that's why we really connected.
Wow, that's crazy.
So growing up in Sealy, Texas,
Right.
raised by your grandmother.
My great aunt, I was legally adopted by my great aunt. And I have a book coming out, so you'll find out it's in my book, but I was raised by my great aunt. And I didn't know about my mother lived right next door. I was told she was my sister. And she was married to a man, my stepfather, but I had a mom and a dad because I was adopted. Wow. And I carried the name Dickerson. And my real mother was a Gerald's, but she married, so she was a Johnson. And I was told she was my sister. And I found out through a teacher at school. I think I was in 6th grade when I found out.
Wow. And could you fathom that in 6th grade though?
You know, it answers some questions, but I mean, I wasn't like, oh my God, y'all lied to me.
Right.
First of all, you black, you better shut the hell up.
Right, mama's still mama.
Grateful.
Right.
Yeah, but it answered some questions for me, but it caused a rift. It really caused a rift in our little Texas. I'm from a small town, and I mean, my mother, my real mom wanted to go over and kill a lady. You know, she wanted to go because back in them days it was different. She wanted to get a pistol and go shoot her. And my dad, who told me you can't do that, Helen. You know, my mother's name is Helen. And so, you know, it settled down. But like I say, you know, it answered a lot of questions. And then, make a long story short, when I finally met my real father, my real dad, you know, and to me, I like him, but he's cool. He's not my daddy. I mean,
Right.
My dad was
cool, good people, but
my dad was Kerry Dickerson who raised me. So I got a chance to meet him, and it answered some questions. But I think the real pivotal turning point was when I got to the pros, and I know we played the St. Louis Cardinals. In St. Louis, and Emmett Thomas is all of Emmett Thomas. And my boy Roy Green said, hey man, Emmett Thomas was down in Texas. He wanted to ask you about some guys, some of your people. I'm like, okay, cool. So this is before the game. He said, Eric, you from Sealy? I said, yeah. He said, let me ask you a question. Is your mama name, they call her Miss Red? I said, yeah.
Yeah.
Your real mama named Helen? I said, yep. He said, she got your mom, you got two, your grandmother got 2 brothers, Jack and Sam. And he called, I'm like, oh yeah. He said, you know everybody. He said, can I ask you a personal question? I said, yeah. He said, your real dad named Richard Seals? I started laughing. I said, yeah. He said, I knew it. He said, Eric, he said, I know your dad. He said, I know his brothers. He said, man, there was some running backs. He went to Prairie View. He said, I knew Richard. I hadn't seen him in like 20 years. He said, he told me he got a girl in Sealy pregnant when he was like 17. And he said, I looked at the film. I'm looking, he said, man, that boy run like them Seals.
Wow, all off the gait of your running.
He said they ran upright, they were fast.
Yeah.
He said, I went back, I looked at your birthday. He said, gotta be him.
That's
crazy. I said, it's me. So
that is
so
crazy.
You think about these similarities, like you said, he living right next door.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And me, I grew up, my grandmother, my dad lived right across the street. Right across the street from me. And I didn't know. You know what I mean?
Crazy.
And I had 4 sisters, played with them in the neighborhood, had, playing different sports, what have you. And then, like I said, man, it was just, just talking to him, man, it was just like an instant connection, man. It was just like I was looking. It
was like a mirror.
Right,
It was like a mirror, yeah.
Hey, I feel sorry for you looking in that mirror, dude, brother. I feel sorry for you. So again, let's go back to, like you said, your high school. Like, so you was dominating at the high school level, right? Dominated at the college level, obviously. But at that time, like, your style was just totally different, right? We can watch, let's say, Steph Curry shoot now. He don't shoot like everybody. It's just a different style, right? Where did that style of running come from? Was that just a natural thing?
It was a God-given talent, you know, and people tried to change it.
And
of course.
You're right, you can't coach it.
Yeah.
And people tried to change my style. You know, son, you run too upright. You know, I ran track because I ran 100 and 200. You know, I won state in Texas. You know, but that was you run too upright. I'm like, hey, can't nobody outrun me? You know,
right? It's working.
It's working.
I think everybody else need to run upright.
It's working. Right. You know, and the same thing when I got, I played high school football. I mean, I ran upright. I was big. I was fast. I could cut. That's why they just kind of left it alone. I mean, they just left me alone with it and just accepted it. Because I mean, like I said, when I came out of college, out of high school, and it's funny. I mean, and I see it's all God given because I'm from a small town of 2,000 people.
Wow.
I was the #1 recruit in the whole nation.
Wow.
It was me, Elway, and Marino. Those are the top 3 guys in the nation. I still got the book with our names in it.
Right.
And so, I mean, I came out to USC on my recruiting visit. I thought about coming here, but it was just too far at the time.
Right.
But I mean, like I say, for me, I mean, it was something. I loved football back then. When I say I loved it, I loved everything about it.
Yeah.
Everything. I remember my first game I played in 7th grade. We were supposed to play on a Thursday. It got rained out. We had to play on a Saturday morning, and I had 5 touchdowns. And I mean, and I was so excited. I had my first was a kickoff return. I had a punt return.
Yeah.
I mean,
Every time you touch it, you're to the house.
It was like that.
That's where we weren't similar. I didn't have those
We didn't play football.
Right.
Yeah, I didn't have those gifts, man.
Yeah. So.
But yeah,
crazy.
you went on to play at SMU.
Right.
And obviously there was a lot of controversy that went on at SMU. They had the white running back.
Craig James. Right. Okay.
And for now, I mean, as a black athlete, just black community, you don't see white athletes,
White running backs. You don't see white running backs.
with that type of speed
No.
and ability to play running back. How was that, playing with a guy like Craig?
See, me and Craig had met because Craig lived only about 25 miles from me. He went to Stratford, and I was in Sealy, and it's right down to 10. So Houston and Sealy was only like 40 minutes away, maybe 30 minutes away from each other. And Stratford was actually closer. It was closer to Sealy, but they were 4A, we were 2A. And so we actually got a chance to meet. Talked about, because he talked about going to SMU and I talked about going to SMU, so they were making a big deal of it. Because his girlfriend, now his wife of 40 years, Maryland, he married, went to SMU. But it was different. I mean, because, like I said, Craig, man, he can run. I mean,
and he was a big body too.
Yeah, Craig was a big guy. He's about 6'1", stout, could run, good athlete, could run, he could punt, throw the ball. He was an all-around athlete, And so when they got both of us, that was big. That was big news.
Huge.
I mean, it was huge because Craig was highly recruited also, and then, like I said, being a white guy. So when I got to SMU, we split time, and I mean. I didn't like it. He didn't like it. I mean, neither one, because they told me I was going to start telling him.
Of course, Get you on campus. Once you're here, it don't matter.
Man, we missing one guy. Right. We missing you. We got you. We can do this.
Right.
So anyway, so I got a chance to, we got there, and my freshman year I struggled. I mean, I was hurt quite a bit, and because I had never played. I basically, make a long story short, I had never lifted weights, like real weights, at the university gym. We didn't have like free weights.
Right.
And a lot of bigger schools, they had the free weights.
Squatting, benching.
So I never did that.
You just country strong.
I was country strong.
Yeah.
See, I was tall and kind of thin, so my body hadn't caught up. Hadn't caught up yet. Hadn't fully matured yet. Right. So. I got to say, my freshman year, Craig played better than me. I mean, I won't forget, I had 498 yards my freshman year. I think in 4 touchdowns.
Absolutely, I know every one of his stats too.
I remember the stats. 4 touchdowns. 6 touchdowns. But I got hurt. I got hurt a lot, and I won't forget they were talking about they should take my scholarship. I'm a bust. I'm a bust. You all that. Craig James a better player.
Right.
They think he's white and I'm black.
Right.
So it's going to be
already.
Right. So
and it's nothing against Craig.
No, absolutely.
But that's just the competitiveness.
I was pissed. I was mad and hurt. Then the next year, I had 987 yards and like 8 touchdowns that year, my sophomore year. And at that point, we were still splitting time, and I'm like, man, I'm just not. They're not giving me the ball. I'm not playing enough. I was going to transfer.
Where were you going to go to?
I want to go to OU.
OU.
That's why I always went to go to school, Oklahoma. I still like OU.
Okay.
So I got there. I mean, I got back. I went back to my dorm. I talked to my friend. I said, man, I'm gonna get out of here. He said, well, I said, I'm gonna transfer. I'm gonna go home and talk to my mother about transferring. Now she didn't like Oklahoma anyway, because so when they first came to my house, I'll never forget. Barry Switzer and like 3 coaches, and I committed to go. I committed to go there.
All right, okay.
And when he walked out, we left. Okay, well, we excited to have you. It had the jersey with my name on it. When he left, she said, "You ain't going to school." I'm like, "Mama," she said, "You ain't going to school."
I just told the man.
She said, "You ain't going to school there." She said, "That man's a liar, and I don't trust him." I'm like, "Mama, I told him." She said, "I don't care what you ain't going there."
Right.
That's what you told him.
Yeah.
So basically, I had to, kind of back out of that, and I ended up going to SMU. And I'm glad I went to SMU.
Absolutely.
I'm glad I went to SMU.
Absolutely.
And so finally, I called Oklahoma. I called them, you know, at that time it was a dial phone.
Yeah,
rotary phone. Call from my dorm. I said, can I speak to Coach? Can I speak to Coach Switzer, please? They said Oklahoma football. Can I speak to Coach Switzer, please? Hold on a second. Transfer me. Coach Switzer's secretary. I forgot her name. Say Nancy. Coach Switzer's secretary. I say, she said, can I help you? I didn't say nothing. Hello?
Didn't know what to do.
I didn't know what to do.
Deer in
So I
headlights.
hung up. So
Hung
I
up
said,
the phone.
I hung up the phone. I'm waiting to get home and tell my mama. I'm gonna talk to her about it. But mama didn't mess around. So I got home. I said, Mama, I want to talk to you about something. She said, what? I said, I want to transfer. She said, what? She said, boy, sit your ass down.
You ain't going
She took a piece of
nowhere.
paper. I never forget. She put SMU and other. She didn't put the name. She put other. Put a line down the middle. She said, okay.
Oh my God, this sounds like when I got
She said, all
cut
right.
from
She
the
said,
Cowboys.
so you want to transfer? I said, yes, ma'am. Okay, so let me ask you a question. I said, Mama, I wanted to go to OU at first, and you didn't want me to go. I said, okay, Eric. She said, oh, okay. She said, well, first of all, Eric, because my mother was, man, she adopted. They were older when they adopted me. So
Okay.
I think they were like almost 60 years old when she adopted me. My dad. So she said, look, boy. She said, okay, so you got a scholarship here, don't you? I said, yes, ma'am. Are you guaranteed to get a scholarship? What up? That's a check. And that's an X over here.
Yeah.
Okay. Are you playing at SMU? Yeah, I'm playing, but
That's a check.
that's a check. And that's an X. Man, so make a long story short, I just went down. It was all checks
checks.
and all X. She said, boy,
She
take
created
your
the
ass
narrative.
back to SMU.
Yeah, you going back to
I went back to SMU. And I never forget, I told my best friend, Charles Drayton, we still best friends.
Nice.
I said, man, I need to get the ball more, man. I said, man, they messing over me. And I never get his reply. He said, Dick, if you as good as you say you are, you'll do more with less carries. And I'll never forget, I said, I'm gonna show you how good I am.
This episode of Getcha Popcorn Ready podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp. Hey, we've all been there. Something is interfering with your happiness or is preventing you from achieving your goals? That's why BetterHelp was created, to assess your needs and match you with your own licensed professional therapist. You can start communicating in under 48 hours. It's not a crisis line, it's not self-help, it is professional therapy done securely online. There's a broad range of expertise available, which may not be locally available in many areas. BetterHelp is committed to facilitating great therapeutic matches, so they make it easy and free to change therapists if needed. It's more affordable than traditional online therapy, and financial aid is available. BetterHelp wants you to start living a happier life today. Visit BetterHelp.com/popcorn. That's BetterHelp and join over 2 million people who have taken charge of their mental health with the help of an experienced professional. In fact, so many people have been using BetterHelp that they are recruiting additional therapists in all 50 states. Special offer for Getcha Popcorn listeners: get 10% off your first month at BetterHelp.com/popcorn.
So did that change your perception?
That kind of, I mean, that just put a fire in me. I said, I'm gonna show them how good I am. Because, at that time, I'm getting bigger. I'm getting stronger.
Right, you developing.
Yeah, I'm developing. So that my junior, I think I had 1,498 yards, and I made all Southwest Conference, second team All-American. And then my senior year, man, it was like playing with kids. That's the best way I
It
can
was
put it.
slow to you. They was bouncing off you.
I was just so much, because my boy taught me how to lift. My best, he taught me how to lift weights because he was really strong. He was a fullback, taught me how to lift weights. And I was bigger, I was stronger. I was already fast, but I became faster. And man, I was just, the stuff I could do. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, sometimes it would amaze me. I would laugh. Like,
Hey, and you look, you adjusted that rear view, and Craig James was in the rear view.
Well, Greg was still playing. I mean, and people don't, people don't get this. They forget this. Most of the time, I came off the bench.
Right, he was starter.
I would come off the bench to play. I would I had one game, I had 14 carries for 200 yards for Texas A&M. And I had an 80-yard and a 79-yard. I'd have like 20 carries for 247.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I was putting it down.
Yeah.
I mean, so it just, after a while, I think if God blesses you, your talent will show. And my talent showed, and my perseverance. And my mother, I mean, I give her credit, man. She was so right. She said, boy, stay there, Eric. She said, you're a Texas boy. You're born and raised in Texas. You ain't gonna live in no Oklahoma.
Right.
I'll never forget her saying it. Well, you ain't gonna live in Oklahoma.
Right.
I wasn't gonna live in
Like,
Oklahoma.
wasn't even going.
Yeah, I'm a Texas boy.
I feel you. So less is more, because that's like I had 8 career touchdowns. He had 153. So I think that my 8 kind of equals.
Kinda equals
you
it all.
feel me?
I got you.
Hey, check and an X.
Right.
No, I gotta go X on a check.
Right, then common sense comes into play.
Right, common sense.
Right. Reality.
Right, that too.
That's awesome. Though. But I was again growing up. It was Randall Cunningham and Eric Dickerson. Like that was my two football heroes. And it's like I remember I had the neck roll. I didn't have the one that flared out like yours
the
though.
pointy one?
I just had the cheap one.
Didn't it look good? didn't that neck roll look good?
Yeah, the neck roll was it.
That was only for look.
And you know what?
That's all it was for. It was just for look.
If that was 2021, how much money would you make on having a neck roll company? Because every kid would have it. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody would have it.
How about the goggles?
And then the goggles. You gotta get your goggle company.
Trust me. Especially Oakley.
Oh man.
That's
God.
None
of that was around when I was
None of that.
You would have been a walking poster board.
I know.
Walking billboard.
For all the right reasons.
Yeah. Because I remember the Sports Illustrated, they had you with like all your the jersey off, but all your stuff
all my
on.
gear, everything.
And it had like boom boom where it was telling you what you was wearing or whatever. I was like, yeah, that's me.
But that lets you know you're a superstar when you make that cover of Illustrated and then like, dude, like it's iconic. That's one of those iconic photos. And I'm telling you, I'm honored to be sitting here. Man.
Absolutely, I am. I don't get excited about too much, but ED, that's what's up.
You real? You like me?
Yeah, exactly. And I ain't gonna tell you, like it give me chills, man. Like, cause I never really watched football growing up. You know what I mean? But when I in high school and in college, I started to see highlights and, you know, you can Google stuff. Yeah. And then just to see you run, man, like you said, it was
that gait.
Exactly. It was like, it's like art. Like it was, he explained it with a great analogy with Steph Curry. It's just like something that you've never seen before. Right. So, ED, we're going to shift some gears. I mean, Hall of Fame in 1999. I mean, like I said, not stat-wise, but we're similar, like 6-time Pro Bowler, 5-time All-Pro. Of all the accomplishments, like you've gone through the highs and lows, you've gone through the kind of like what we're going through now, the black and white issues. What is the most proudest moment out of? I mean, like I said, that's you got to dig through a lot of your accolades and like what would you say is your proudest moment as a football player? And you played Rams, you played with the Colts, the most notable two teams that you played for. We're not gonna,
the Raiders.
Yeah,
but
those last couple of years, they don't really count.
They count, but they don't count.
Right, exactly. Right.
Them yards count.
Yeah. You know, Till, that's a great question, man. Honestly, I don't know. And I just said, honestly, I really don't know. I mean, I never won a Super Bowl. I mean, I wish I would have, but I mean, that didn't define me because it's not my fault.
Same.
Same. Yeah, same. I mean,
same.
But
almost not.
Yeah. It is the same. I mean, we didn't win a Super Bowl neither, but I wanted a ring too, like you wanted a ring. It's the same. Sure.
Okay, we'll get you.
You know, man, it was an honor for me to play football. You know, at all levels, high school, college, and pro, and I really think God that I had an opportunity to play because I think of all the people I've had a chance to meet, even you, even meeting you. I mean, and it's an honor for me to meet you because, I mean, I watched you play, and I watched. One thing I admired about you, and my best friend said this a lot, he said, Eric, one guy reminds me of your work ethics, that's T.O. Because he knew one thing about me. He said, boy, now if you're going to work out with Dick, man, you better bring it, man. Because I'm serious about when I worked out like that. Because my thing was I want to be the best.
Yeah.
That was me. I want to show them because I'm from a small town and, they kick hate on small town. Small town, how good I was with the talent that God gave me. How, I always say my talent was second to nobody's, none. And I'm not bragging, but when I came to the Hall of Fame, I mean, a reporter asked me, he said, this is before I went in. He said, you think you're gonna make it to the Hall of Fame? I said, well, first of all, I said, I don't know. I said, I don't let that define my career. Right. I said that I put any running back that has ever played in the NFL, ever played. Yeah. I said, take his numbers. Yep. I said, take my numbers. I said, I put them right next to him. And I can guarantee you my numbers are better or just as good. I said, he said, you're right. I said, to me, the Hall of Fame shouldn't be a popularity contest because I look at how they did T.O. Yeah. And I always say, okay, I gave an example. I said, okay, so you got the guy, let's say you're the number one guy. It's just the number one guy. but we're gonna give it to the number 5 guy.
Right.
we don't want the number
just
one. We want the
because.
number 5 guy over here.
Yeah.
I said, don't work like that. I said, the thing about it is it's political. I said, a lot of times I'm not a politically correct guy. I call it like I see it. My dad had a saying. He said, son, the truth ain't always popular, you'll find out, but it is the truth.
Absolutely.
And that's how I live my life. I mean, people know me. I call myself out. I mean, I think about my worst football game. I can take my worst football game to this day. It still bothers me today. We played the Redskins in the playoff. Had 150 yards and 3 fumbles. Man, it was like trying to hold a glass egg for some reason. I could not hold on to that damn ball. I'm like, what the hell?
I had one of those games, but I ended up winning it. But
we lost.
Right.
17
Which makes it worse.
Yeah,
I remember.
Yeah.
But that, again, my worst game ended up being sort of like a stepping stone, kind of like for my career, because, like you said, I watched the ball like go into my hands. I mean, I was dropping the ball. I was dropping the ball left and right, and I had a fumble early in the game. And so, like I said, I'm playing with the great Jerry Rice. I'm playing with Steve Young. This is like a wild card game against a historically rival team in the Green Bay Packers. They got Brett Favre. They got Antonio Freeman.
Ooh.
So for me, it's like second or third year in the league. And now I'm playing more and I'm part of the offense. Dude, I'm talking about I dropped a touchdown, I fumbled, I had probably like 2 or 3.
You don't forget that, do you?
2 or 3 drops, and I'm like,
what's wrong with you?
Hey,
I ain't never had that many drops, y'all.
You caught all yours.
I caught all my stuff, so I'm just saying. I'm gonna let y'all have this conversation. I didn't make too many mistakes on the field.
We're talking real, see?
Right. I know, I'm delirious.
Yeah, but I mean, I remember some of those things. Like you said, that was honestly, that was like that could have gone a number of ways. It could have gone really
career-wise,
bad for me
absolutely.
because I was on a 3-year contract.
Yeah.
And like I said, me ultimately catching the ball to win, and then obviously we end up losing the next game in the playoffs. But that was a stepping stone for me, like the catapulting of my
To
career.
go through something, you gotta go through
Yeah, to
something
go
in
through
order to
things
recover
or what have you.
and get better.
And it's so funny you talking about the Hall of Fame, because honestly, it was a couple of people that I called about that decision to go do my Hall of Fame in Chattanooga. And guess who those 2 people were? Y'all 2. That's so crazy.
Yep.
I called Hatch, and
I was like, he
talked
wrong.
Yep.
to you. And he was like, don't do it, T. He was like, man, you gotta go. He was like, you gotta go.
I wasn't like, you gotta go. I gave you reasons why you should go.
But it was like, I got, in my eyes.
And then it was some information I found out on how the hall works, and that's kind of when I started changing my tune as well.
And I spoke to you.
Yep.
And you was like, T. You was like, I understand.
Really?
That was pretty much his feedback
Really?
to me. It's like,
What'd you say to him?
Yeah, I said, man, I think you might regret it maybe later. I said, but I understand if you don't. I said, I get it. I said, because to me, I said, it did you wrong. I mean, and because I've been him, and you know the difference, and you don't like it when they're doing. Like, I want everything to be fair. Just be fair.
Just be fair.
If it's fair,
Just be
I ain't
fair.
got no problem with
Right,
it. But don't do it. And then when I heard other guys say it,
Hall of
Fame guy, oh, he shouldn't be. And I'm like, what you mean he
They
shouldn't
ain't got
be?
no-
in?
yeah,
I said, I'll give you an example. I said, give you a great example. When they were asking me about LT, should LT be in because of the drugs? I said, what?
LT?
Hell yeah.
Lawrence Taylor.
I
said,
Not LaDainian Tomlinson people.
LT
This is
Taylor.
Lawrence Taylor.
Yeah.
I said, look, football is not a popularity contest. I said, nobody's perfect.
Come on.
I said, but should he be in? I said, I tell you what, line up against him out there and see if you think he should be in.
And then tell me.
And then tell me.
Right. Yeah.
I said, of course. I said, T.O. should have been in the first ballot. I said, it's just wrong because, you got guys who don't like you. I told you, I don't know if I told you the story. A reporter told me in Houston that vote for the Hall of Fame. He said, when I got in, he said, I want to tell you something. He said, I ain't going to tell you who. He said, but you were going to be a unanimous decision, but one guy wouldn't vote for you. And he said, let me tell you why he wouldn't vote for you. He said, because you held out. And I asked him, what that got to do with football?
What that got to
He
do
said, I
with
never vote for a guy that holds out. See, that's what I'm trying to tell you. To me, that's that political stuff. You know, it's the political BS.
Just
with
doesn't have anything to do with
it ain't got nothing to do with football.
Yeah.
And
Nothing at all.
And I mean, I played against some great players. I mean, I played against LT, I played against Walter Payton, I played against,
Darryl Green.
Darryl Green,
yeah.
my cousin Dexter Manley, who should be in the Hall of Fame. It's a travesty that he's not in. I mean, because, and you talking about a guy who was dominant, because, you as an offensive player, and you're an offensive player, you know who can play.
Who
You
dominates.
know, you out there, you like, oh, are they giving a guy hype over there? You like, no, he ain't worth it. He ain't worried about him.
Game plan.
There you go.
Once you
game plan.
Yeah.
We game plan for Dexter Manley. We game plan for Lawrence Taylor. We game plan for Reggie White.
Yeah.
Certain guys, I'm like, we ain't game plan for him. How you getting the Hall of Fame?
Right.
And this is not just on a one-off. This is years consecutively, consistently game planning for people.
Yeah. And I mean, I played against some great players. I mean, I played against LT. I played against Walter Payton. I played against,
Darryl Green,
my cousin Dexter Manley, who should be in the Hall of Fame. It's a travesty that he's not in. I mean, because, and you talking about a guy who was dominant, because, you as an offensive player, and you're an offensive player, you know who can play.
Who
You
dominates.
know, you out there, you like, oh, are they giving a guy hype over there? You like, no, he ain't worth it. He ain't worried about him.
Game plan.
There you go.
Once you
game plan.
Yeah.
We game plan for Dexter Manley. We game plan for Lawrence Taylor. We game plan for Reggie White.
Yeah.
Certain guys, I'm like, we ain't game plan for him. How you getting the Hall of Fame?
Right.
And this is not just on a one-off. This is years consecutively, consistently game planning for people. So again, you guys are on it right here. Thank you guys for the support.
Absolutely.
I mean, he was like.
It was a long conversation. It wasn't like no 5-minute conversation.
And I took it serious. A lot of people probably think that, he's just T.O. being T.O. That was kind of like the thing. But I honestly, I took it strongly into consideration. Like you said, okay, one day, like, man, you may regret it. And I took that, honestly, that feedback wholeheartedly. Listen to Hatch, tell me, like I said, he gave me some scenarios of why I should go, and then, and I told him, kind of gave him my reasons why I felt the way that I did. And like I said, I took all this information, and even Doug, who is my marketing guy, and he was kind of helping orchestrate everything. And I had, once I had talked to you guys, I had ultimately, at that point, I'm like, okay, I got all the feedback that I needed from the people that I knew, that I cared for, and I knew that they was going to shoot me straight with. And I took that information and I decided, and I'm like, okay, I'm not going to go. I said, I took it with a grain of salt. And I'm like, I told Douglas, man, I still don't think, I said, I value their opinion. And then I went to the situation of, okay, let me talk to my mom. And my mom, she watched me play a little bit, but she didn't understand the whole
like moms down there.
The dynamic of the whole voting process. She didn't understand all of that, and so I just took it upon myself and okay, this is my decision. And then Doug was like, look, they have the orientation. He's like, T, don't make a rash decision. He was like, you may regret it. He said, let's go to the do the orientation, and then he said, after that, if you still feel the way that you do, he said, we'll do it your way.
Yeah, that's fair.
I went to Canton. I met, Urlacher and B. Dawkins was there. So we toured this and that and the other. And honestly, like I said, it didn't make me feel any better about the situation.
Probably worse, actually.
And I came back and I just like, this is what I'm going to do. And like I said, it wasn't the most popular thing, for me to make that decision.
Get Your Popcorn Ready podcast is brought to you by ButcherBox. ButcherBox delivers high-quality meat, frozen at the peak of freshness, and packed in a 100% recyclable box right to your door. And even better, shipping is always free. This way you can bypass that dingy store near your house or that long trip to the butcher shop across town. The process is simple. Just choose your box and delivery frequency. That's it. So easy. I love being able to customize my order. In addition to the best ground beef I've ever had, I've been going with the ribeyes and top sirloins and bacon for breakfast. My fridge is now a very happy place, and every week I get exactly what I want. And the folks at ButcherBox must be in a good mood these days because they're offering our listeners ground beef for life. Yes, you heard that right. For a limited time, ButcherBox is giving new members 2 pounds of ground beef in every order for the life of your membership. That means you'll always have something in the freezer for burgers, meatballs, tacos, meatloaf. Did I mention tacos? You do you. Sign up at butcherbox.com/popcorn to get, I repeat, 2 pounds of ground beef in every order for the life of your membership. That's butcherbox.com/popcorn to claim this deal.
I knew that I was going to ruffle a lot of feathers. Obviously I heard, leading up to the week or that week of the actual ceremony, there were meetings being held. They were still discussing my situation. I heard it was like 50-50, with the Hall of Famers. Some liked me, some didn't like me. And I knew some of those guys, In addition to you, I talked to Deion Sanders about the situation, Ronnie Lott, these were, obviously guys that I, respected and played with the Niners, what I mean? So I knew, like I said, for me, I was going to have to identify with the teams that I played with. And so I took that really strongly into consideration. And, at the end of the day, I know people always say, and that was one of the topics and the statements that people said, on telecast is that, oh man, you're going to regret it one day. He's going to look back on this or what have you. And honestly, like I said, I talked to my brother, my mom, my sister, and those are the people that were so important for me in making my decision. And then they saw it hurt the way that I was treated, not making it the first time, not making it the second time, considering where I was statistically.
I know.
They were hurt. Not only did the millions of fans that I've, that have supported me throughout the course of my career, they were hurt. So when my mom was like, we with you. Whatever you want to do, T, we with you. And to all the critics out there, especially the ones that are like, oh, not you, they were like, he's going to regret it. I looked at it at this. How can you regret something? It's almost like when people say you miss somebody. How can you miss something that you never experienced?
There you go. Yeah.
So that's how I look at it, and I come back with the people to say, oh, he may regret it one day. Because that feeling that they feel that I'm gonna, that I'm gonna miss out on at the Hall of Fame or the Canton experience, I can get that from my family. Nothing can replace family.
That's true.
I don't care how many people, fans or whatever, cheer for me at that establishment. That love and adoration for who I am as a person and supported me throughout the course of my career, that can never be replaced. Right. So I tell those people I can never miss anything that I never experienced.
I agree with you, Tio. I mean, look, I'll say this much here. Like you said, now I've had dealing with the Hall of Fame, and I'm not a big fan of certain people there. I don't want to say names, but I just don't like the way they treat players.
Right.
And I like I said before, I like things to be fair. I mean, I don't care about your color. Right. I mean, and a lot of it, it's unfairness, and that's what I just don't like about certain things they do with the Hall. I mean, and like I love the players I played with, I love the players that I'm in the Hall with, and it's a. One thing is, brother, you will always be in there. Yep. So ain't nothing they can do. If you ever want to go back there, you're always welcome to go back there. That's the thing. You can always go back there.
Yeah, right. If my son, my kids want to go, my family want to go, and they're like, oh, I want to experience it, then that's when they can go back there.
When you dead and gone, they can say, hey, that's your great-great-grandfather right there. He'll always be right there. So
does the NFL stand for no fair league?
It should. Because it's not. I mean, like the NFL is like this. Let me say this much here. It's a lot of good things the NFL have done. I mean, I can't take that away. Yeah. I mean, they've done a lot of good things. I'm not saying everything's bad because I think as a former player, you hate to see something that you love so much and then you have almost like a disdain for it.
Yeah. Oh.
It's not about the players. It's not about, it's about sometimes the people at the top.
Yes.
I mean, because I did an interview with a girl from the league, asked me would I do an interview with, not an interview, but they're going to do a survey. They want to know how players feel about the National Football League. I started laughing. I said, girl, she said, Eric, I know how you are.
Right.
I said, you want me? She said, Eric, what's your opinion? So I got there early, talking to a guy and a girl, and I said, so what's your question? I said, well, how do you feel about the NFL? I said, no, how do I feel about the NFL, or how do I feel about the NFL? The players or what? She said, okay, let's ask about the NFL itself. I said, well, I'm going to say this much. I think the NFL is full of shit. I said, I think they exploit the players. They don't take care of the players. They don't treat the players right. I said, that's it. I said, what they want is you to play for them,
Make them a lot of money.
And go somewhere and die.
Yeah.
That's what
Don't
they
bother
want.
us when
They
you're
don't
done.
want nothing to do with you. I mean, that's how they treat 90%, let's say 80% of their players. You know,
Right.
I say, I don't care how big you are, they treat you like that too. It just lets you the chosen ones. They have some of the chosen ones.
Yeah.
And so I said, the players, I love the players. I said, the NFL, I said, the sad thing is, they made me hate a game that I love so much. I said, I loved everything about football.
Wow,
When
that's
football season came around, I could smell it in there and say, it's football, it's
Yeah.
football season.
Yep, smell the
They make
grass.
you hate something you love. I said, that's what I don't like about the NFL. Okay, boom.
That's
LT
a
comes
powerful,
up.
So
that's
real.
a powerful statement he just said.
LT walks up. I said, ask him the same thing. She said, Mr. Taylor, I said, he said, what time we playing? You know, LT angry. I said, we playing at 9 o'clock. I said, hey, they got a question I want to ask you. What? How do you feel about the NFL? The NFL. I hate them mother.
There you have it, ladies and
They don't
gentlemen,
give a
right?
damn about the player. I
Right.
said, there you got it right
Right.
there.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, he goes by. Richard Dent comes up. Dent said, what time is he playing at 9 o'clock? I say, ask him the same question.
Yeah.
Mr. Dent, how you feel about the NFL? Them mother, man, we hate them bastards. Boom.
Yeah.
Marcus comes up. Mr. Allen, can I ask you a question? Yeah. And how you feel about it? Oh, come on. Marcus is more diplomatic.
No, yeah, he politically correct.
Marcus
Already.
said, He said, they don't do the players right. He said, they don't do the players right. It's just wrong how they do the players. I mean, and that's the thing.
That's
that you
4
s-
for 4.
That's 4 for 4.
Right.
You know what I saw the other day? I mean, I was talking to a guy. We became kind of friends, buddies. Lyndon Kane. He played for, you don't know him. He's older than me. He played with the Chargers and the Raiders. And Lyndon said something that, you know, you kind of forget, because, you know, our brothers, we talk the same language. Right. And Lyndon's a white guy. And he said, because he's, you know, we're going through some treatments that kind of help your memory and stuff.
Right.
And he said, man, I hate the NFL. Wow. I said, wow. He said, man, the stuff, the way they treat players, he said, it's horrible. And you know, when you hear white guys say that, and I've heard them say it, but you
different
kind of forget
perspective,
because it puts in perspective. He said, man, they want you to go, he said, they want you to come play for them and want you to go somewhere and die. He said exactly what we say. I mean, and it's not like we making this up. I mean, look, we love that sport. We
Love it.
We loved it. But the sad thing is that they make you hate something that you loved so much. And that's the sad part.
So
It's sad to say, man, but that's almost that slave mentality.
That's exactly what it is.
based on what we've seen, experienced,
Yeah.
but to get the world to see and just the fans to understand, because all they see is, oh, we're getting paid a lot of money.
Millions of dollars. It better be
Right,
millions
you
of
should
dollars.
be satisfied. This is what you signed up for. No, it's not what we signed up for. We're still human beings at the end of the day. You know what I mean?
So let me ask you this, right? Are we headed in the right direction with the firing of Gruden then?
Yeah,
because we think that's a part of it. We're trying to say, is this thing going to be fair? Are you going to start getting rid of some of the people in higher places that aren't for us or aren't fair? If you want, if you know what I'm saying.
I don't know Gruden like that. I mean, some people know Gruden, like know him as a person. And I'll say this much here: nobody's perfect. You know what I hate about sometimes the NFL and people that work for the league and just the world itself? I hate hypocrites. You know, they point their fingers. Oh my God, I can't believe he said that.
I would never.
Oh my. Yeah. You know, but to their buddies, they're saying, man, I can't stand them black bastards. That's the thing that gets me. Because look, let me tell you something. And I guarantee you, anybody who's looking at this, you're a freaking liar if everybody's made a racist comment. All of us. You have, I
absolutely.
have, everybody has.
Absolutely.
That don't make me a racist. I'm not a
Absolutely.
racist. I don't hate a whole race of people. I mean, I may have a conflict. I mean, I've had conflict with my own brothers. I mean, like brothers. Like brother.
You call them out.
Call them out. You call
In a
them-
heartbeat.
You call them out. So when I look at this cancel culture stuff, you know, it's not about, if you say something, you know, you may say something out of anger. It's out of anger. You know, that doesn't mean I hate a whole race or I should be fired for it. Everybody makes a mistake. I mean, I thought we live in the United States, a place of forgiveness. I mean, and Gruden, like I said, I don't know Gruden. I don't know John Gruden. I don't know his character. You know, he said it and he owned up to it. But I mean, is that a reason to fire him? I mean, if that's the case,
No, I think he resigned.
he resigned. But I think they can push him out.
Yeah, of course,
They
push him out.
But think about
Forced out.
it. They can fire everybody. If you start looking hard enough,
Everybody's
they start
emails.
looking hard enough, they're going to find something you said.
You went through it. We touched on it. You know, you had some racial things going, spouted at you because of, your situation, contract situations. And I know you have a book coming out. Tell us a little bit about your book. We want to use this platform. Really
My book is called Watch My Smoke.
Watch My Smoke.
Okay.
What?
Okay.
That title right there, man. Read that smoke.
Yeah, and you know me, it's real.
Right. I already know. You called me, and your people called me and asked me.
Would you put a blurb in it for me?
For a blurb.
Yeah,
so
because
me, I'm gonna keep it 1,000.
All right.
Yeah.
So it comes out in January.
January 18th. That book actually drops.
2022.
Okay.
2022, right? So it tells about my life and my journey through my life and through the NFL and the things I've seen. Not just through the NFL, but me growing up as a kid in the South in Texas. And the whole story. My whole story. Dealing with the racism. Like you said, man. I went to stadiums in New England, Chicago, Philadelphia. San Francisco. Call us niggers. You bunch of niggers. You niggers need to do it. It was really degrading. But that's how it was back then. Right. They would throw stuff. Really think about it. In Cleveland, they would throw stuff at us, like throw dog bones at us in the end zone.
Yeah.
Throw them. They allowed that kind of stuff. Treat us like animals.
Like animals.
Because a lot of them are brothers. They treat them, on the football team, not like everybody, but I just feel like that. People asked me about a book years ago, and I said it'll come out at the right time. And the book is really a kind of pre-sequel to my life, and also I paid homage to my friend. Who he told me, he said, Eric, you're going to do a book. And he told me that 20, 30 years, 25 years ago.
Wow.
And that was his thing, because he was like my spiritual leader. He was like a dad to me. And
awesome.
that's why I came up with Watch My Smoke.
Watch My Smoke. All right, go cop that January 2022.
Yeah.
I want to ask, obviously you played for the Los Angeles Rams. And now we have the actual, they're back here.
LA Rams are
back.
Yeah.
You were the original Los Angeles Rams. They left. They was in St. Louis.
Right.
And now they're back here, right here in Los Angeles. What do you think of this new look of what we're seeing with the new Rams with the new quarterback, Matthew Stafford?
I love it. I think, I've said this years ago. It wasn't popular when I said it, and I like nothing against Jared Goff. But I kept saying, man, if we just had another quarterback.
Right.
I said, that's what we've been missing. Because, I'm not a quarterback, but the eye test,
Yes.
the eye test.
Exactly.
You know it too. Everything can't be perfect in football.
Right.
Sometimes for my quarterback, things have to be perfect. I like Matt Stafford because he's a gunslinger. He's fearless. I know this is his 13th year and all that kind of stuff, but I just
he can play, boy.
Quarterback for 12 years.
Yeah, his whole career.
He was just in Detroit.
His whole career. So he played in Detroit. So I think that right now he's still learning our offense.
Yep.
Because every offense is people don't really every offense is you got to get to know your receivers as a running back. I got to get to know my offensive linemen. I got to get to know certain guys do certain things well.
Yep.
Right.
So, but man, I love what McVay has done with this team. I think that we could possibly go a long way. I'm not saying we're going to the Super Bowl, but we do have a good football team, and as well as you know, as I know. Man, it's all about those injuries.
Yep.
Stay
if you
healthy.
Stay pretty healthy as you possibly can, or get healthy at the right time. I think we can go far. But I work for the team. And who thunk it?
Who would have
the
thunk
team
it?
that I played for, and they didn't do me right. When I played for them, and that was a different time. But I'm glad to be back with the organization, and
Is somebody wearing 29 over there?
Nobody will.
All right, man. That's what's up right there.
Might bring back the jerseys. Remember how you brought back the old throwback jerseys
throwback
back?
jersey.
Might give me a 29 Dickerson jersey.
29. Yeah, man. Well, appreciate you, man. It's like
Yes,
you said,
sir.
it's a pleasure and it's an honor, obviously, to have you on the show. Like I said, it's a treat. I think all of our viewers, people that are listening, audio-wise, we're sitting here with one of the greatest, running backs of all time. And Eric Dickerson. So we appreciate you coming to the show. And for all you guys that are listening, watching out there, go cop that book in January. Now, we're going to remind you, watch that smoke.
No, watch my smoke.
Watch my smoke.
Watch my smoke.
Watch my smoke. So if I would have said it, people would be like, watch.
You'll see the Jerry curl in that book.
Yeah, you'll see what we were talking about.
Jerry curl blowing in the wind.
Watch my smoke. Eric Dickerson, appreciate you.
Appreciate you coming on, old man.
No problem, man.
Like I said,
I'm
sharing
glad
some time,
to
sharing
be
some
here.
stories.
Good to see you,
Yeah,
as always, brother.
Let's go Hall of Famers on 3. Let's do it. Okay. We ain't gonna do it. There it is. Get Your Popcorn Ready podcast. Peace.